So now I'm trying to manage my internal emotions. Oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening while I'm climbing a mountain. I can't breathe, to a point where they had to administer oxygen to me on day 1 of 7.
Mm.
But like the mindset that I had, the mindset that I trained to have when
Mhm.
climbing this mountain is what got me to the next day, day 2. And it was saying, all right, I decided not to just climb, I decided to get to the top before I even got to the top. So just because I experienced some pain, you can't let pain dictate your decisions.
Welcome to Lovely Esteem. I'm Lovely, the auntie you always wanted, the sister girlfriend you didn't know you needed, honey. You gotta have self-love to have self-esteem. And here we know that God don't make no junk. So we're gonna sit down, talk about it, and see how we can fix it, baby. Let's do it. Hey guys, this is Lovely with Lovely Esteem. Welcome back to a new podcast. Listen, I'm trying to build up a following. Okay. I want to have conversations with such a diverse group of people, people who we may not always see eye to eye, but like we understand that the only way we're going to heal as a people is to have these conversations, fun conversations, serious conversations, conversations that change your life, right? And today I get to speak with Miss Tia Banks. Miss Banks is not only a motivational speaker and an award winning resilience expert, mountaineer, a black woman climbing mountains. It's the climb. You know, I had to do it. Oh, I was going to sing mountain high enough, but whatever. All I know is that when you have a chance to talk to somebody who understands what it means to not only fail forward, to pull people with them, to rise to the occasion, to know that there is more to life than just the four walls that we see sometimes. You do that, right? I keep getting I'm like, in another one. In another one. It's the blessings that I be, ooh. Sometimes when you by yourself, sometimes when I'm alone in my room, sometimes I stare at the wall. Y'all can tell how old I am because it's a song for everything. But I get to experience this world, this life, and I get to talk to people who are extraordinary in their own rights, in their niches. They're taking over the world one person at a time, but they're lifting people up and bringing them with them. Love lift us up. But you know what? I know it's gonna be a good conversation because I got a bank of conversational songs up in here. Between me, my husband, and my best friends, it be some songs in here. It's probably a couple crazy songs in here. Dum, 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 dum. You know what? I'm gonna get off this podcast. Please enjoy the conversation. I know I will. Bye, guys. Hey, guys. This is Lovely with Lovely Esteem, and welcome back to the Healing Through Conversations podcast. Today, as I told you guys before, there are times where you receive a blessing and you don't remember asking for the blessing, but you got to take it, right? And I received an email from the assistant of Miss Tia Banks on a day when I was having a really bad day. I was failing forward, is what I was doing. And I received the email and I thought to myself, mountaineer. I was like, dude, I need to do some more with my life because I don't understand what's happening. But the more I read about Miss Banks, the more I realized that I love when we can see each other in such diverse lights. B, they are out here motivating people to do some things that probably feel so scary because you've never even thought about it. You may not have ever even walked outside of the 5 miles of where you lived. And C, when you see us doing great things, we just look good doing it. And I was like, yes, bring me all the business. So, Miss Tia Banks, thank you so much for being on the podcast. Give us all the flowers. Tell us about yourself.
Oh man, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. All the flowers. So before I can take you to the peaks, because yes, I'm a black woman, and yes, I climb real mountains. Like not just hills. I'm talking the highest freestanding mountain in the world. I'm talking I'm the second Black woman to summit the highest volcano in North America. But before I can take you to the peak, I gotta tell you about the valley first. Because
Yes.
going through the valley is the whole reason why I climbed to begin with. I grew up in Lincoln, Nebraska. Now, I know you're already judging me because you're like, is Black people in Lincoln? Yes,
Look,
there are Black people in Lincoln,
I'm
Nebraska.
not judging. I just was like, tell me more.
It's a lot of corn. But I grew up, it was just, I don't know if you remember this show, it was called The Cosby Show. And my family, I felt like we were the Cosbys. I was the only Black kid in my school, one of 500 in the elementary school. Our family was one of the only Black families in the neighborhood, two-parent household, me and my siblings running around, but life was good. I didn't feel any form of racism. But at that age, kids don't care. They just want to know, are we going to recess or not? So it wasn't until my parents got a divorce, just like 60, 70% of Black African American marriages, it ended. And so when my mother moved me and my sisters from Lincoln, Nebraska, she got a job promotion. We drove down to Fort Worth, Texas. And that's where I experienced, like, I would say colorism because
Mm,
the school I went to was the majority 50% Black, 50% Hispanic. So now I'm seeing faces that look like me, but I was different because I sounded what they said proper. Kids made fun of my voice because I was super proper. They would call me an Oreo, Black on the outside, white on the inside. And so at a young age, I changed who I was. I changed the way I spoke. I started to say words like finna. Now, first of all, finna. That's what they say in Texas, in Fort Worth, Texas, to be exact. I'm finna go down the street. I'm finna go to the locker room. So I'll be like, what's up, y'all? Y'all, we finna go hoop. So I'm changing who I am. I'm changing how I dress.
mm,
And at a young age, I learned the only way that I could be accepted was being somebody besides myself.
mm,
On top of, I've always been an athlete. I played professional sports, but it stemmed from my father, which I have an amazing, amazing relationship with my father. I'm a daddy's girl, but there was something, I think he wanted me to be a boy. I think he did the way he treated me. Everything was suck it up. And it was
mm,
like our last name is Banks. It's the Banks mentality. Suck it up. You fell, your knee is bloody, suck it up. Yes, I threw the baseball and it hit your nose and now you broke it, but suck it up. Everything was
mm,
suck it up. So here I am. I'm struggling with my identity at a young age. Here I am thinking everything has to suck it up, which means I can't express when I'm feeling pain, external, internal. And now I'm in college. I get a whole culture shock there. In college, they don't warn you about college coaches, but college coaches will tell you be mentally tough.
mhm,
They don't show you how to be mentally tough. They just tell you to do it. So now I'm thinking, okay, my dad said suck it up. My coaches said be mentally tough. If I marry these two things together, what does that mean? It means don't tell anybody how you feel.
mhm,
So everything is numbed, swept under the rug. And that, as a young adult, I'm living and operating in this way. And I'm just existing. I'm living and operating in a way that's detrimental to my emotional well-being. So that mindset, it led me into a space of depression. I struggled with anxiety. I was emotionally, spiritually, financially bankrupt. I
mm,
had no purpose.
mm,
And so that led me to discovering like it should be our natural state as humans. Like it is our human birthright to feel well.
Mm-hmm.
So even though my parents never talked to me about therapy, like what are some ways that I can holistically heal besides going to alcoholism? Because we could talk about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I leaned into holistic ways to heal, journaling. I started to journal. I started to meditate. I started to pray a little bit more. And prayer is great, but there's a reason why God put therapy on this planet.
Speak on it.
So I leaned more into therapists. I got counseling. But one of the things that really completely shifted my mindset and my whole lifestyle was I started to hike. I started to get outside, not like the way they say right now, like get outside. I would get outside in nature and I would hit those trails and I would feel more connected
Mm-hmm.
and grounded, and it was healing. And that's where I found my true therapy. And from there, I found the highest freestanding mountain in the world. I came out of a meditation. I wrote in my journal, I want to climb the highest freestanding mountain in the world. Never climbed a mountain before in my life. I just knew how to shoot baskets, how to catch a football. But I'm just like, here in Texas, we have a saying, go big or go home. I'm like, I'm going big, the highest freestanding mountain in the world. And let me show you something. Do you see I have a birthmark on the side of my face
By your cheek. Mm-hmm.
right
Mm-hmm.
here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in the shape of Africa. I know it's hard to see, but it's in the shape of Africa. And that's where the highest freestanding mountain in the world is, in Tanzania, Africa,
Mm-hmm.
19,341 feet. So that was the journey that led me to climbing mountains to heal.
Okay. What? Two things. And just so y'all know, I'm a cursor. I tell everybody I curse and I'm going to hold myself together. But damn, that's one. Number two, create the blessing, spread it amongst others, right? And that's what you just did. Created a blessing, spread it amongst others. Because when we're in these DEI meetings, right? When we're talking about what diversity looks like, this is what I mean. I don't mean black and white. I mean a black woman, two parents, together or not, two parents who love you. You say, I can't figure out who I am because our parents, they're still trying to figure out who they are, right? They've been together so long. When they separate, those are two new people. They're walking into a different world, drop into a whole different community, trying to figure out how to build yourself. And a lot of us are repairing ourselves from broken cells. We're trying to figure out how can we connect these parts. And then watching you, your eyes light up as you tell your story, because eyes to me are everything. Eyes to me are everything. You told your story in a way where we not only felt your spirit lifting as your journey got higher, pun intended, we also saw how it healed your soul because the ending of your sentence, your eyes were so bright. And I think that to me, when we talk about diversity, this is what we talk about. You don't expect to walk into a room and say, oh my God, you're a motivational speaker. So what else do you like? I'm like, baby, I'm going to go get something to drink because this is going to be a good story. Yes, it is. And I love that because when we are in spaces where we don't feel comfortable and we are learning how to break ceilings, sometimes we are the ceiling that we have to break.
Yeah.
Sometimes we are the people that have to say, hey, all right, I'm not happy here. What does it take to make me happy? And I'm a believer in holistic mental health. From your feet touching the ground, full flat foot, toes in the ground, to the top of your head being wet by the rain to wash away some of the misunderstanding that we have with nature. And I love that you decided, okay, go big or go home. You didn't say go big. You said go huge. You said if I'm going to do this, I've already done so much. Let me climb this. So let's take us through. just even leaving college and deciding to walk into a therapist's office, what was that like for you? Like, because I think that people need to understand it's not, it can be scary, but hearing other people's stories can help so much.
Yeah, so I've had so many therapists, to be honest with you. So the first experience wasn't the best experience. It was a person who wasn't a person of color. She was a Caucasian woman, and we probably met twice.
Mm.
And I just knew after the first conversation, I was like, I don't even know if this woman is going to understand my experience. But I tried again. And a lot of times, even after trying, we might not want to persevere because it's like, it was hard enough just to push myself to find the therapist, to walk through the door, to sit in the chair. And now I got to find somebody else. I got to go to see what my insurance will approve. It takes away from the desire to get that resource.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So after the first therapist didn't work, I took a little time, maybe like a couple weeks, and I said, all right, let's try again. And I reached out and I found a woman of color who understood culturally just
Mm-hmm.
kind of what I experienced. And she made me feel very safe. And I think when it comes to therapy, we put the roadblock up. You
Mm-hmm.
know, we're just like, I don't want to tell a stranger my business. But on the other side of telling a stranger your business, which by the way, they're an expert and certified in this is what they do. This is why
Speak
they
on
went
it.
to school.
Speak on it.
On the other side of that is your prosperity. On the other side of that is you healing childhood traumas that you didn't know you had. On the
Mm.
other side of that is allowing you to express yourself when your voice was silenced when you were young. Now
Mm.
you want to explore, you can ask questions because, you know, maybe I can maybe speak for myself. I was raised, you don't ask questions. Go clean your room. That's it. You just clean it. Go wash
I
the
only
dishes.
seen and not heard. That's what the generation I came from. We didn't hurt. Excuse me. Was I talking to you? Oh my God.
There
I
was
just
no
want to go to the
que-
bathroom, please. Just,
I'm telling you. But so going to therapy like opened up a whole new world to allow me to be more emotionally intelligent, to
mm-hmm.
ask myself questions like, how do I feel? Mental health check-in. Tia, how's your heart?
Mm-hmm.
And I got comfortable with having conversations with myself. And now I'm using what's called like a resilience skill, which is self-talk.
Yes.
Self-talk is going to help me bounce back.
Yes.
It's going to help me bounce back from a financial hardship. It's going to help me bounce back from a broken heart.
Yes.
So I think like I'm worthy of that. And I think people need to realize like you are worthy of healing. So get out of your own way and go to therapy.
I, look, I love it. And one of the things that you hit on that I always preach about is grieving, right? When you go to therapy, you learn how to properly grieve the you that you thought you were, the you that you have in your head. You get to learn how to grieve the child that you thought you were, the child that you thought you were going to be. Because in order for you to get to the next level, you have to let those things go. You have to
Yeah.
learn how to embrace the newness that your life, the new path that your life is on. And also, therapy for me, I'm going to say I statements. Therapy gave me permission to have emotions outside of my head because there were lots of conversations happening inside of my head because I had a lot of questions. I am one of those people. But because we were in environments where I was considered a white girl because of the way I spoke, I was considered proper or stuck up. I was considered the bougie child, right? And that hurts because when your family talks to you like that, and then you walk outside and then strangers talk to you like that, and there's nobody to balance those things off of, you start to believe it and then you alter yourself as you said previously, right? And that altered person is a mask and you cannot live in that space forever because those walls, they tumble down. Those are fake walls. They aren't structured together, and it's not a foundation that you can really build on. And as we get older and we start to really come into ourselves, we start to realize that, oh, I am a person who likes punk rock. I am a person who loves gothic. I like anime. I like with all the things that we learn to love. Then you start questioning, well, was I really me? Was that really my life? Am I really who I say I am? And yes, because you needed that person in order to survive. But once you get to therapy, now you get to open up this whole new flower. It gets to, you get to plant the seed, you get to till the soil, you get to watch yourself grow. And I love your understanding of every therapist isn't for everybody. And somebody, you may be a Black person and you don't do well with talking to Black therapists. That doesn't mean that you're different. It just, you have to find your person. Your therapist is a part of your tribe now. Because we married. Because me and my therapist, we together. All right. You know too
Period.
much about me.
Okay.
You know,
Ain't no breaking up.
ain't no breaking up. And so, how did you take your resilience, your emotional intelligence, your ability to, and I know we're like, you're so well spoken, but no, you articulate your emotions very well. And that to me is beautiful because all of us have the opportunity to do that when we're in safe spaces. Without safe spaces, we don't articulate ourselves well because we're on defense. Offensive safe spaces create offensive ways of talking. We know how to build up, protect ourselves, get to a space where we can be open. But so how did that, those skill sets that you build, take you to a place where you could speak in front of people and talk to others?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say being emotionally intelligent, like it wasn't like I went to therapy and all of a sudden I'm this emotional intelligent expert. It took applying, it took practicing getting uncomfortable and expressing
Mm-hmm.
myself. And a lot of times, like people say it's hard to have uncomfortable conversations. It's the way you think about it. It's just a conversation. So if I look at it as just a conversation, I'm just expressing myself. Hey, when you said that, it made me feel like this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think taking that mentality into speaking, it was really easy for me. I'm going to be honest with you, only because I'm also a poet. So my speaking journey didn't necessarily start from mountain climbing. My speaking journey started from a place of pain. So, and that was through poetry. So in my healing, I would write poems and I would go to open mic nights and I would read my poems. And as I started to hike and feel better about myself and build self efficacy and stimulate these positive emotions through pouring out how I'm feeling on this paper and sharing it with people, then I started to feel confident in myself and say, all right, what if I said something that wasn't just about my pain? What if I said something to help somebody heal their pain? What if I said something to encourage, to inspire, and motivate? So now I'm in open mic nights, and my poems went from sappy, love, sad, being hurt, and broken up from that. And now I'm like, you are valuable. You are worthy. And I'm speaking affirmations in
Mm.
a motivational tone. And so doing that was really the start of my speaking journey.
This is why I do this podcast all the time, right? Because I really believe that you attract mirrors of yourself in different places, different spaces in your life, right? Because that's how I got into this. I used to write stories, poetry. I just love, and I'm a reader. I read a lot. I'm probably more reading than talking to people unless I'm doing something like this. And I love when you get to a place in your life because healing isn't linear, right? Like you're going to heal and then get hurt, and then you have to build up, and then you're going to heal and get hurt, and it's going to knock you a couple steps back, and it's going to feel like, why do I keep trying? But the reason why you keep trying is because now you have confidence. You know, all right, I know skill set. All right. I can do this. I can't let it take me down because not only am I dependent on me, my inner child is dependent on me. The person that I helped 2 days ago on Tuesday who said they were going to contact me is dependent on me to figure out where I need to be. Right. And it doesn't mean that we're not, sometimes with healing, you got to fake it till you make it. Like you be like really out here crying in the bathroom. Like everything is so good. Are you really okay? I just need a moment. I'm gonna sit in my car. I'm gonna scream in my car. I'm gonna do a little therapy. I'm gonna focus. I'm gonna learn how to breathe again. And then I'm gonna come back in here, do what I need to do, and then go home and lick my wounds.
Yep.
But that's being able to speak to people, speaking life into people. That's what I always talk about affirmations. Don't say affirmations that don't feel aligned with your life. If you don't feel beautiful today, it's okay to not say that, right? You can say some affirmations are really you talking to you. I need to get my shit together. I need to talk to myself. I need to be more open with myself. I'm allowing me to let other people's conversations or opinions about me take me down. Why am I doing that? Affirmations are, it's you talking to you, it's you building you up. And when you get to turn that around and take it from I statements to we statements, now I'm including you in my tribe. And all of us want that connection. And when I think about motivational speaking, I don't think about the Oprahs of the world. That's not who I think about. I think about my sister girlfriends. I think about my cousin who talks to me, who like can sit on the floor with me when I'm at the lowest, when I can't speak because my tears are so heavy, who can whisper in my ear and tell me those things that I need to hear. And I think that sometimes people like us, quote unquote, we endure a lot of the pain because we were put here to speak life into others. And that's what I hear when you're talking. Like you're speaking life, you're breathing for other people so that they can have a chance to heal and be able to walk and talk and take what you said back to somebody else in their house. And that's what I hear when I hear you talk.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it just goes to show you like the only reason why I'm able to go into, I speak in school. So the only reason I can go into a school or go into an organization and speak life to them is because first I had to start with me. And
Mm-hmm.
that's where the therapy came in. That's where in the hiking, I would use affirmations. That's where the healing through poetry started. And so to heal others, we got to heal us. And then when we do heal us, it is a responsibility to extend your hand to help people.
Mm. I, First off, healing through poetry. You better coin it because I'm gonna put it on a t-shirt. So yeah, I'm always trying to find something to put on a t-shirt. Just but no, healing through poetry. You, you better write it. You better do it because that was your blessing that you just got out of that. Um, how do you? I'm always talking about mental health being put into schools, and I really believe that a lot of the programs right now. I'm doing a peer to peer. I'm teaching a peer to peer class through NAMI, and NAMI is the National Alliance for Mental Illness. I adore them because they gave me a chance to really debunk the stigma that I had inside of me. I thought that I knew about mental health, and then when you get to talk to people who have had different journeys than you, it does something to your soul because you want to feel connected. Within the school system, what do you see the best, or what do you think the best way to really implement conversations about mental health? What do you see? What kind of programs do you see yourself creating or that you see other people creating that really inspire you when you're in the school system?
So we actually have a nonprofit. It's called Summit Saturday. And this nonprofit is geared towards youth development and it's helping students who have mental health, particularly at-risk students.
Mm.
So your children of color, we're bringing at-risk students into nature and we take them on a guided hiking experience. So we're getting them out in nature, giving them holistic ways to heal. We do mental performance coaching sessions, is what we call it. So we provide them with again, the resilient skills, but ways to self-regulate their emotions,
Mm-hmm.
certain breathing techniques that they can use,
Mm-hmm.
conversations, bringing out that negativity, that internal negativity, and pouring back in with some positivity, or more so optimism.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is a difference between positivity and optimism. So we want to instill them with an optimistic point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my dad does have cancer, but we're researching different ways to where he can get treatment, and he woke up with a smile, using ways to be grateful in the present moment. And so we have these programs in different schools across the country, and we've been seeing results to where it's improving academic performance, it's improving athletic performance, and it's helping enhancing their overall mental health. So, our goal is to just get in as many schools as possible to impact at least over 100,000 students.
I just hugged you. Because I really believe that I wish that we could start with mental health when the mom is pregnant, right? Because that, to me, when she feels healthy, because there's so much that people go through. And if the mom can get it, and then the dad can get it, even if they're not together, right? Just having some skill set to help you regulate yourself as you go through all these hormonal changes, as you go through all of these life changes. Because then what happens in my head, let's just go with the dream, right? When the mom gives birth to the baby, the word mental health, the phrase mental health, the phrases mental illness, the phrases mental health disorder, mental health awareness, it's not strange. It's a conversation that we have every day. So when this baby goes off to daycare, when they go off to kindergarten, start, people like you with your courses are already in those school systems, talking to kids to help them build themselves up from the beginning. Because a lot of us, we learn about ourselves, what now, 20, 27, 37, 47. I'm 48. I started my mental health journey at 37. I was having a nervous breakdown. I didn't know what it was. I just thought I was being weak, because Black women don't, we don't cry. Why are you crying outside? You better not be. Why are you crying outside? You better get your shit together.
Yeah.
You just out here in the streets, just you can't. Okay, so something wrong with you. You need to go on some medication. You need to. My first medication turned me into DMX. I was barking at people. I needed to go to sleep. I was like, Lord, please, somebody help me out. My first therapist was like, you need to learn how to be angry. And I was like, what do you mean? He said, no, you come, every time you come to therapy, you tell me a story, I tell you a solution, you tell me how the other person that made you angry, how they were going through something. He said, just be mad. Just be mad. Okay? That's the bottom line. Next time you come here, I need you to be mad. I was like, sir, I don't know how to be mad. I know how to be, I know how to mask. I know how to I know how to be assertive, but you want me to be emotional in front of you? I have a whole husband who's still waiting for that, babe. So I don't know how I'm gonna get that done. Like you just get used to. And what I love that you said earlier was the suck it up. That is a very cultural thing, right? And I'm like, I understand that in slave times, in hard times, you were like, hey, you can't show your emotions, because when you show your emotions, they see weakness. And I'm
Yeah.
like, we're in a different time now. And at home, I should be able to express my emotions. But then I had to remember that when I express my emotions, the person who's receiving it may not be equipped to receive those emotions, because they haven't dealt with their emotions. And if I'm mirroring what they feel and they don't know how to feel that, I'm setting somebody off. And if I'm broken and you broken, one of us got to figure out how to get out the door, right? And I think that when I was reading your bio about just the way you have taken your experiences out in nature and really created such safe spaces for the children who look up to you, who see you as amazing that you are, not just because you climb mountains, because I'm serious about this. Like, I can promise you I've gone up a hill. I looked back down and it was like, can we rappel down? I rappel down. I zip line down, but you want me to climb back down? I don't want you to do it, babes. Um, but I love that you created these safe spaces and pockets of how you're healing your inner child through watching these children heal as well.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
You
It's
know,
purpose. It's purpose work. And the only way that I could find it was through healing.
so but let's talk about the mountain because I wish I had pictures. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna find some pictures. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go on your website. I'm sure you got pictures on your website because I was stalking you on your website.
You do.
Anyway, breaking down barriers,
Yeah.
right? The second, because let's not skip over the fact that you said the second Black woman. Like, this is huge because the
Yeah.
amount of, I know to me, I'm going to say me, I statements. I don't even think about climbing a mountain. Let's just be very honest with myself. I think about singing about climbing mountains because ain't no mountain high enough. That's where we were at, babes.
Uh, oh no, you're fine. The
Okay.
light just went out. Let me turn on a different light here. There we go.
Okay. So what barriers did you have to break through in order to get to the space where you were able to feel free climbing, to have that space in your spirit to take that next step?
Hmm. Honestly, like I'm kind of like a Nike person and I just do it. So when I had the vision after coming out of meditation, climb the highest freestanding mountain in the world, I'm an executor. So I just started executing preparation. What is the highest freestanding mountain in the world? What do I need to research to climb this mountain? What routes do I need to take to get to the summit of this mountain? Who's climbing with me? I reached out to several of my friends, which probably had the same response that you did. See, I'm not climbing no mountain. Okay, does that mean I don't do it? No, I find somebody else. And
Mm-hmm.
thankfully, I had four people that climbed this mountain with me. But now, since I've never climbed a mountain, how do I train? I've never been at a high altitude. So, which by the way, you get on a high altitude mountain, you're at 50% less oxygen. So what do my lungs, what kind of training do I need to do for my lungs to be prepared for this? And, I'm gonna be honest, like my first mountain, it was very hard. And that's an understatement. I'm an athlete. And the reason why is because it was a 7-day hike. But before I even got to Africa, I stepped on the plane at JFK Airport and I immediately started sweating. I'm sitting in the
Mm-hmm.
plane. I got the chills. I got a itch in the back of my throat. Here comes a cough, like, and I'm on a plane. By the way, this is right after COVID. So COVID is still very active. And I'm
Mm.
displaying all of these COVID-like symptoms, and they're getting worse. So I
Mm.
can tell you when I got to Africa, I really thought I had COVID.
Mm.
They gave me the test, it was negative, but I felt like the symptoms got worse. So now I'm trying to manage my internal emotions. Oh my
Mm.
gosh, I can't believe this is happening while I'm climbing a mountain. I can't breathe to a point where they had to administer oxygen to me on day 1 of 7.
Mm.
But like the mindset that I had, the mindset that I trained to have when
Mm.
climbing this mountain is what got me to the next day, day 2. And it was saying, all right, I decided not to just climb, I decided to get to the top before I even got to the top. So just because I experienced some pain, you can't let pain dictate your decisions. So I said, all right, day 2, whatever, give me more oxygen. I'm going to keep climbing. I put my backpack on 8 hours, blisters on blisters. Day 3, 10 hours of hiking, negative 30 degrees. It was a decision that I had to keep making. And so after 7 days, I reached the summit of that mountain. So I think when I put my mindset to something, there's no other option other than to make it happen. Even if it means like if a year later, if I didn't make it to the top, I'm gonna try again. That happened to me. There was a mountain I had to try twice to get to the top. So I think it's important for people to know, like when you decide on a goal, don't just quit just because you experience some adversity. Keep that same energy.
Let's just pinpoint, don't let pain stop you from achieving your goal. That's in every aspect of your life, right? Because you could be ready. This, it could have not just been COVID, right? It could have been a relationship that ended. It could have been a job that just ended. It could be so many other things that are happening in your life as you're trying to achieve that goal. Because something, the world's gonna, life is gonna keep lifing. Because life do it so well. You'd be like, what is happening? But you still have that plan. And that's why it's so important whenever you are trying to create a business, whenever you are trying to create plans, they always ask you, what's your why? What's your ending? Right? Because you have to see the vision. You have to see yourself succeeding in order to get there. Because if you only see the next step, it's easy for you to sidestep it. You're like, it wasn't so important. I don't know. But knowing the why, like, I have to do this. This is my calling right now. There's something at the top of this mountain that's waiting for me, and it's me, right? And that mountain it doesn't have to be a mountain. Sometimes it's your spirit. Sometimes it's your emotions. Sometimes it's your physical self. Sometimes it's your intellectual self. Like you're trying to figure out how to get to the top of your top 10, right? It's not about anybody else. It's not about what your mom wants for you or what your dad wants for you, your cousin wants, your spouse wants for you, because they have such a different view of you than you have on the inside of who you are. And knowing what your why is, knowing what your ending is the most important thing. And honey, you did better than me, because them blisters, I would have started sucking my thumb. I would have, what
I
was
mean,
I thinking?
there's so many things that want that you can't really control in life. Like unexpected events. I didn't expect to get sick.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that to happen. I didn't expect I got mountain sickness on top of being sick.
Please
I didn't
explain.
expect for my light to go out.
Please
Like
explain mountain sickness real quick. What is that? What is
okay, so mountain sickness is it's like you'll get a headache that Tylenol can't cure. It's extremes, it's symptoms to where the only way that you can cure it means you're at a high altitude and you're not getting enough oxygen to your brain.
Mm.
So the only way to truly cure that, you can do medication or you can go back down and or you can persevere through it. I chose to persevere through it, kept it moving. But it can also create like coughing, where your lungs can get filled with fluid. So I'm gonna be honest, people can die from it when you're climbing a mountain. You can get evacuated because of mountain sickness.
Wow.
In talking to a nurse, I probably should not have kept going, but I kept deciding. And there's a part of me that's very stubborn. I don't know if it's stubborn or stupid. But I was like,
60-40. Let's go with 60-40. That's what I always say.
but the goal didn't change. There's so many different things that might try to dim your light. You see how this
You see
light try
it?
to like try not to make me be great, but we adapt to it. And I'm
Yes.
gonna keep moving. I'm gonna keep pressing forward. This podcast is still gonna be amazing. We're gonna keep showing our light through our conversation, our healing conversations.
Speak on the words. Speak on the words. I got it. I caught it. I caught the whole thing.
Got it.
You know, because okay. So whenever I speak to someone or whenever I have a guest come on the podcast, I'm particular because I let my spirit guide almost everything that I do, right? Because I'm not an emotional person per se. I'm a very literal person. Like if I say I'm going to do something, it's going to happen because because I've listened to the spirit tell me what to do. The spirit said, an ancestor said, this is 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, you need to do podcasts. Okay. All right. So how do I do this? What do I need in order to make this thing happen?
Yeah.
So I'm always about compassionate people, people who see the humanity in others. Right. And I see that in you. How you, not only how you talk about yourself, because if you are the kind of person who can talk about the humanity of yourself, the compassion that you learn to show yourself, embracing the vulnerable parts of you, understanding that your weaknesses are just lessons, right? It's learning how to pivot. I don't think that a lot of people are taught those skills, because whenever you fail at something, it's a lot of the times it's somebody screaming at you. A lot of the times it's people who, the greatness that they see in you, they don't know how to express that. They don't know how to articulate their feelings towards you. So in our world, it just comes out as aggression. It just comes out as anger. But I think that sometimes sometimes as we get older, we learn how to talk to people a little bit better. But I see how compassionate how compassionate you are about yourself, but how realistic you are about the situations that you've gone through, right? Like, yes, you see me at the end as an award-winning resilience specialist, right? You see me at the end as this mountaineer, second Black woman to reach the top. But I need you to understand the path that I took to get here, so that you know it's not easy, but it's doable.
Okay.
Right? And the resilience, let's keep talking about the resilience it takes to get to that special place, because that's what I hear when you talk. Your theme in the whole podcast is about resilience. Fall, get back up. Get sick, get back up. Don't understand, get back up. Therapist bad, find new therapist. Right? Like, that's all of, I think that all of us can really, we can benefit from that, because sometimes when we fail, we stay on the ground. And you can't win staying on the ground.
Yeah. That's it.
This is so good. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This was so good. I love talking to people who have a picture and they see greatness in themselves and they see greatness in others, and that's what they strive for. And you have given me a couple of things to think about. Go outside, but it's gonna be level. It's gonna be level. This is gonna be, it's where we're gonna be. But I have a girlfriend who loves to hike, and she's always like, "Come hiking with me." I'm like, the bears. She's like, "Where do we live?" You're right. You're right.
They
No,
got bear spray. You like, nah, it's not for me, Tia.
this is not for me. And the funny thing is that her name is Tia too. And
Oh,
my Tia is a photographer, and she just is an amazing person. Just one of the best people I've met in my adult life, because she breathes life into people that she loves, and I love that about her.
yeah.
And that's what it seems like you have been doing for so many people all over. So tell everybody where to find you, where to go, your next steps. What are you doing? Let's
Yeah.
get people to you.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can always find me on the website, www.tiabanks.com. We're speaking at schools all across the country. So you'll see me this week. I'll be in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I'll be in Colorado. Week after that, I'll be in Nebraska. So we're on a tour. It's called Mind Over Mountains. And it's helping empower students and educators to be resilient, just because that is something that we all need. We're going to experience hardships that are going to push us back, and we have to learn how to bounce forward. We were able to do it with COVID. And so, who's to say when the next event happens, like, how do we move forward? How do we press forward? How do we keep climbing? And so, you can find me on social media as well, Instagram, the Tia Banks. And yeah, just look up YouTube. We're everywhere. Tia Banks.
Tia
Google me.
Banks, baby. That's what we
Come
talking
on.
about.
And we're climbing more mountains. So I've got a few mountains this year, and then we're climbing 7 volcanic summits on 7 continents. And the goal is not just for me to climb. I bring other people with me, Black, Indigenous, people of color.
Mm,
And the goal is for me to get to the top. And when I do, I can come back down and bring other people up. And so that's something that we're doing.
First, are you recording yourself going up?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
Because I'm gonna watch you. Because you know I'm not gonna be there.
Trust me.
So, or do you have plans to come to the East Coast?
Uh Next year, I'm
Okay.
in to be honest with you, I'm in the East Coast a lot, but it's Southeast. So I'm in Atlanta all the time,
Okay.
multiple times a year. I do have a friend that recently moved out to the DMV area. Shout out to Kia. So I'll probably go visit her. And if I do, you gotta come hiking with me, sis.
Listen, you better find a small mountain, a hill.
It,
Great Falls. I will go to Great Falls, Virginia, has wonderful hiking, and I
let's
can do
do it.
that because the
I'm
waterfalls and
serious.
stuff there. I love the water. That the water is my thing. I love the
Okay.
water. I'm like, and ain't no bears there. No lions, tigers. I can't do it. No, but I promise you, you come here. I in my head, I'm just like, oh my goodness, you would be great at this school. You'd be great at that school. Just because I know a lot of teachers, I'm close with a lot of teachers, and these are the programs that the teachers are always looking for. Motivational, not speakers, but people who are going to be real with kids.
Yeah.
Because I think that they connect with you so much more when you aren't trying to be somebody else. They
Yeah.
just get it. And I because they're little humans like us. They like be for real. They really mean that, like be for real. So
Yeah.
I thank you so much for being on this podcast. You
Thank
have
you.
you have inspired me, and I love when women be women in. We just so damn good at it. This is so good. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Hey, guys. Wasn't well, listen. There are times when you talk to someone and you can see the light in their eyes when they feel it when they're in their pocket. Tia was in a pocket, baby, and kept climbing the mountains. That conversation got better and better and better. But I loved not just the conversation about resilience, but the conversation about understanding that you fight for what you want. You believe in yourself, right? You not only you take what you're given and you build on that. And sometimes you have to look outside of the normal your normal realm. You have to look outside of the four walls that you're given. You have to look outside of the 5 miles that you normally travel within your community to find solace and hope, to find connectiveness. When we talk about being holistic, it really means learning how to heal from within, right? Learning how to use the intangible things to heal you, the energy from the earth, right? The crispness, the crispness, the crispness of the air, learning how to center yourselves, how to feel the energy from the trees around you, how to let the grass help you grow, learning how to get to a space in your life where you no longer let people change how you heal. I'm not saying you won't need to heal multiple times throughout your whole life, but I promise you, it's going to be worth it. Thank you so much for being a part of this podcast. Please like, follow, share, subscribe, send a courier pigeon, whatever it takes, because I am learning how to embrace the unknown and learning how to articulate my feelings, wants, needs, and desires so that I can get to where I want to be. I want some hot wings from the bowling alley. That's what I want. What I'm going to eat is that salad from downstairs because I'm getting older, baby. Them wings don't feel the way they used to. Anyway, y'all be good to yourself. Bye. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you found some healing, connection, and joy. Until next time, bye, loves.